Hey, it's Mark here with your video thought for the day. So I'm kind of finishing the day of rest, the Sabbath. And I have a lot of people who watch these videos who are Christian, obviously, as I am a Christian. But I also have a lot of people who watch this who are Jewish. And I hear from people who watch this who really aren't much of a Christian or a Jew by practice. I've even got, I think, a Buddhist who watches this occasionally and sends me emails. But today, I want to focus on something that's, in a sense, uniquely Christian. And if you're not a Christian and you're watching this, I hope you'll watch it anyway, because it'll give you insight into one of the core ideas in Christianity that I think in a way is one of the appealing points of Christianity as well. So let's take a step back and make sure we're on the same page. Genesis chapter 1 explains creation in a process of 7 days, but it's 6 days of God forming and filling creation. He forms for 3 days, he fills for 3 days. And then there's this seventh day of rest. And God sets it aside and calls it holy. It is, if you read Hebrew or biblical Hebrew, you will find that the days of the week don't carry pagan names like ours do today. Thor's Day is the day named after the god Thor. Thursday, we've now called it. Well, in Hebrew, it would be just first day, second day, third day, fourth. They're all enumerated. They're given numbers, except the seventh day. And that day, the Sabbath or Shabbat, is a day of rest. It's got the name rest in it. So God rested on the seventh day. Now, Jesus comes and Jesus does something of cosmic profundity. I'm not sure that's a phrase I've used before, but it's appropriate. Cosmic and historical profundity. It is profound for all ages in all space and time. Jesus takes all of the sin of humanity, from Adam to everybody in the end of time, and in one fell swoop, all of that sin is placed in its responsibility and its consequences on Jesus. And that's his crucifixion. And that's the darkness in this world, as the entire cosmic history of moral punishment focuses in a singular moment on a singular person. Jesus does this so that as we affiliate with him, our just consequences of sin are totally washed away. They're totally gone. The price has already been paid. The account is brought to zero for all time. Now, as a result, I'm not constantly striving to earn the pleasure and goodwill and relationship with God. That does not come from my efforts. That does not come from my moral achievements or purity. It's entirely a gift of God. And it means that part of me that's always been working to try to find the promised land, the land of living in harmony with God, with milk and honey. All of that effort is over because it was done by Jesus. Now, the writer of the book of Hebrews says this in Hebrews chapter 3 and 4. It really is chapter 4. And he talks about how God made the Sabbath as a day of rest. But for us who have had Jesus go into the presence of God to fight our battles, to do our work, to pay for our atonement, to pay the price for our sin, we get to enter into God's Sabbath rest. And that's what it says. And the passage, Hebrews 4, I think is like verse 5, or verse 4, it's a little bit earlier, says that we get to enter into the rest of God. And this is why Jesus said, if you'll come to me with all of your heavy burdens and all of your weariness and all of your efforts and all of your striving and all of your worry and all of your guilt, and just give it to me, I'll take it and I'll give you rest. It can put a smile on your face in the midst of your darkest night. The Sabbath rest that we have in the presence of God is the biggest blessing that a human could ever have. It is the signature of God's unconditional love for you. It's the heart of the Christian message, and it's the heart of this, your video thought for today.